Optibotimus comes with another video review. And on today's episode, thanks to the folks at Mattel, we're going to be taking a look at their new Masters of the Universe Origins, He-Man, the most powerful man in the universe. New for 2020, the Masters of the Universe Origins line for the remainder of 2020 will be exclusive to Walmart stores. After that, it will be available at mass retail. For the package, absolutely gorgeous. I got lucky, I got one that wasn't punched. I'm kind of afraid to open this because that means it's like worth more, right? I don't know. But absolutely beautiful card, very reminiscent of those old vintage toys. You got that really nice blister here with He-Man. Of course, you got the little dimple, which I absolutely love that they threw that in there. You got the modern posing retro play. You can see he's got his comic book there in the back. Come around to the back of the package, and you got other figures that are in this first assortment. His action feature being that he can hold his power sword and he can twist into powerful battle positions. Up here at the top it says, with the mystical power sword, the mighty He-Man protects Eternia from the forces of evil. And then it says, modernizing and celebrating the original 80s Masters of the Universe action figures, Masters of the Universe Origins gives you the power to pose Eternia's greatest warriors as retro-style figures or in new action-packed battle positions. Now, this is the second He-Man figure that I have taken a look at from this Origins line. The first one being part of that San Diego Comic-Con version that came out last year, and I'll do a comparison here in a bit. There isn't a lot different, but there is some things that are worth noting. But for the packaging on this guy, that's about it. So, without further ado, let's get him out here and see how cool he actually is. Alright, so here we have He-Man opened up and out of his packaging. And like all of the Origin figures, he does come with the mini-comic. The unfortunate thing is, it appears to be the same mini-comic that we got with Skeletor. That's a little unfortunate. I really wish that they would have done more in terms of developing the story so that you could collect the comics in addition to collecting the figures. I still really love the fact that we get them. I think that the art is still phenomenal. They are short, as I mentioned in that Skeletor review, but it is still a really nice addition to something like this. It really does nicely homage that vintage figure. Now for his accessories, some of those we have seen before. For example, this is the new mass release shield by He-Man. This is the one that came with the San Diego Comic-Con version. You can see there is a slight difference in terms of the color, both in terms of the gray section as well as the little orange bit. You can see this one is a little bit, I don't even know how to describe it. You can totally see the difference though, hopefully. Let me come in here. I don't know how to describe the color, and you can see that this definitely has a very gray look to it, whereas this one has a little bit more green in it. And then the orange, again, it's slightly different, which honestly I do appreciate because it does allow that Comic-Con one to still stand out as being an exclusive. That's really nice. But that's really kind of where you're going to see a lot of these differences in terms of the coloring. He comes with this battle axe, which looks really good. It's just molded in this gray plastic, but again, really fun. Definitely something that He-Man had. And then he comes with the other half of the power sword. Now, in the Skeletor video, I touched on this a little bit. Skeletor had half, and then the other half was in Castle Grayskull. And if you got both of them put them together, you got the power of Grayskull. Now, unfortunately, he doesn't come with a full one, but you do have both of these that you can see. They just attach. You got a little female and male peg thing right there that you're just going to put this all together, and that's going to snap together very nicely, giving you his sword. I do wish that there was an extra little piece towards the top. You got several down here. You got total of 4. I wish there was one more up here just to kind of keep the blade a little bit closer together. But you can see when you combine it, that's what you have. I do wish he came with a full solid silver one just by himself. That's a little unfortunate that he doesn't. I don't know if they're going to release it in other releases or something of that nature, but you do have that, and I do like the handle on here. He can still hold it fairly well in the hand. Put that in there. Get that coming. There we go. Holds it decently. The only downside is from that side, you see that. So that's a little bit ugly. You can still store this right through there, which is nice. I like that. You can also, if you wanted to, store that back there. all personal preference. This can remove, much like the SDCC one. You can take that off and swap parts with your other Masters figures, and that does get a little bit tricky to get that the force back on there. But that's it for his accessories. The SDCC one, again, was the best one that we got, because in addition to getting all the swords and all that kind of stuff, he came with alternate hands, so you could have like a fist in one hand and all that. He also came with an alternate portrait. Now, these ones are stylized. I didn't mention that in the Skeletor one, and I'll bring in Skeletor again real quick, just for the comparison here. You can see that this is a stylized look for him. I like it. I think it's pretty cool. A lot of people don't, but it's updating that figure. I can see where people would want it to stay true more to that original vintage figure. But you also did get this alternate portrait with the SDCC one. This is their stylized one. This is the one that they recreated to match the vintage toy. I don't know. I mean, I really like that. I like this one too. Don't get me wrong. I think that one is really cool looking. I do like the old school nature of this one though, and you don't get that, which is a little unfortunate. Now, for the comparison to that He-Man, let's come back a little bit. Here he is. Now, obviously, I have him in a more upright stance. You can do that with him as well. This is the sort of pose that he would be in if you wanted to recreate that vintage look with the figure, but they all stand basically the same. But here you do see a difference with the paint applications. Number one, his skin tone. This is a darker skin tone than the mass release one. Again, I really like this one. And I like the fact that it is different because, as I said, this was an exclusive, so it makes sense that it would still be a little bit different. The portrait looks a little bit better. It's not as glossy. This one has a little bit of a gloss to it, kind of giving him a little sheen on the face. This doesn't have that. It's a little bit more dulled down in terms of the overall gloss. You can see that his belt has a slightly different orange color to it. The loincloth does. The boots have a slightly different look. The SDCC one, you can see that you got the orange straps going around the boot. You can still see them there, but they're all basically the same color. Obviously, this is a higher price point because it's an exclusive. So it makes sense that there's going to be more paint applications. The bracers are a slightly different color. The other thing that's worth noting is that this is included in the SDCC one. You had that little slot right there where you could put the dagger that he came with. This does not have that. It's not there at all. Now, if you wanted to, you could swap them because they just pop off just like so. So I mean, if you wanted to swap it, you could. But that's another difference that's worth noting. If you didn't get this one at San Diego Comic-Con, you're not really missing out on a lot, other than, in my opinion, this head, which I'm kind of starting to really like this one. The overall look is slightly better, but again, you paid more money for this one. This one is a $15 retail figure, which price-wise I think is fantastic for these. I mean, the regular figures are $15. The larger vehicles, Battle Cat, the Jet Sled, all this, that's like $25, so it's not bad. But I'm trying to look, hair even, no, the hair looks like it's the same, but I mean, it is what it is. It doesn't bother me having this or really this. I mean, hell, now I can probably take this and put that on there and have a little bit more of that vintage sort of look. But overall, still a great figure. I didn't do this in the Skeletor one, but people probably want to know size-wise. Obviously, when you stand them more upright like this, this is literally the only Masters of the Universe Classics figure that I have in my collection now. I've sold off all my other ones in anticipation of this new line because I really like these, but you can see the size difference there. I had that figure out and I totally forgot to do the comparison. First articulation, the head is on one of those dumb ball joints, so you have a ball joint at the base and then a ball joint right up at the head, so you get a nice range of motion with it. You got pin hinge joints here at the shoulder, allowing you to move it in and out all the way around. He bends at the elbow. It's pretty stiff. Yeah, bends at the elbow and then also rotates at the elbow. The wrists move forward and back. They also rotate, come down to the waist. You have a waist rotation. You have the ball joint hips, allowing for forward and back motion. The knees bend, they also rotate. You also have a rotation at that boot, which I still think is weird because you got that rotation, then another rotation. You have a hinge, and you have a nice rocker for the ankle. So overall, I mean, like I said, really very happy with how this guy looks. I think that he turned out great as a mass release figure. The only thing that I mentioned this before, the only thing that I wish was done, and you know, honestly, oh no, I think it's this one. Is it this one? No. Oh my goodness, I don't even remember now which one it is. The only thing that I wish was done a little bit differently would be adding that back and forth wrist joint for the holding the sword above sort of look, because as it is, that's what you're gonna get. I mean, it's still cool. I still love it. I still think it looks amazing. If you're a He-Man fan, I would recommend picking this up all day long. I mean, it's He-Man. Hopefully more figures are done by Mattel. I really do want them to do every single one, and I can't imagine why they want it, because they have pretty much all the tooling, because a lot of these are interchangeable. So fingers crossed they give us every single character we can think of. So on the surface, this is a terrific figure. He-Man is an iconic piece of 80s pop culture. He fits up there with the likes of Lion-O and Optimus Prime. So I would absolutely recommend picking this guy up. So, all that being said, if the new Masters of the Universe Origins He-Man is a figure that you would like to add to your collection, for the remainder of 2020, the Origins line will be exclusive to Walmart stores, and they should be hitting shelves on August 1st. So if you're looking for them, good luck and happy hunting. But beyond that, guys, that's about it. Remember, if you like this video, I would really appreciate it if you would do one very simple thing for me, and that's just to hit that thumbs up button. That one very small gesture really does go a long way towards helping me out, and I would really appreciate it. Also, I want to send a huge shout out again to the folks over at Mattel for helping to make this review possible. And as always, remember that the real trouble with the world is that too many people grow up. Thank you for watching and taking the time to be a kid.